Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Music and Moonsaults. I am your host, Chris Bourdine, and it's the Rock and Roll Retrospective, number 6 for the month of April. Before we get started, you know what I'm going to say. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, please leave a comment. Over on Facebook, if you go to facebook.com/music and moonsaults, I got a Facebook page for the show, because why not? So yeah, please do that, and give me a like over there. The audio of this video will be up on podcast platforms all over the place. You can go to anchor.fm/Christopher-Bourdine5, and they will point you in all the directions you want to go, whether that be Apple Podcasts, leave a 5-star rating and a nice review, Spotify, click the follow button, Google Podcasts, a whole bunch of others. So yeah, that would be greatly appreciated too. So today we got my brother Kyle coming on, and maybe another guest. I haven't got that for sure yet. But definitely my brother Kyle is coming back on. We're talking more Foo Fighters. If you remember back in December, I had Kyle and our buddy Logan on, and we kind of did a ranking system for all the full-length Foo Fighters studio albums, kind of determine in a semi-scientific way which ones were our favorite and which ones were our least favorite, and rank them. Coming back, we are going to talk about an album that all of us had very high on our lists as one of our favorites, and that's the Wasting Light album, which is 10 years old already, which is crazy to think about. This is the album that solidified me as a diehard Foo Fighters fan. I had always liked the songs I heard on the radio by the band, but I never bought an album up until The Pretender came out, and I bought Echo, Silence, Patience, and Grace. I went to that tour, and was like, okay, yeah, this is one of my bands now. And then the Wasting Light album came out, and yeah, then so I'm okay. Nope, this is like my second favorite band, because this album is just awesome. So yeah, we're gonna talk a little bit about that. Actually, we're gonna talk a lot about that. We're gonna talk about, obviously, we're gonna go track by track like we always do. Talk about some interesting anecdotes, and then also we're going to talk about the tour, because that was my second time seeing the Foo. That was my brother and my dad's first time seeing Foo Fighters, and actually the day of the show was like the day after my birthday, so that was kind of cool. So yeah, we're going to talk about that, and yeah, we're just going to have fun talking about Dave and the boys. So sit tight. Kyle and maybe another guest, maybe not, will be here shortly. All right, as I said, I got my my younger brother joining me again. Talk some more Foo Fighters.
Oh yeah.
You can find him over on Twitter at Kyler_gaming, and also on Twitch. I'll let him plug that at the end. Kyle, welcome back.
What's up, bro?
Moonsaults.
How's it going?
It's going great. I've been looking forward to this for some time. As soon as I put together my album list, by month, so to choose, so I could kind of decide what albums I wanted to talk about each month. I went through and 5, 10, 15, and so on years, every year, for each month every year. And once I saw that this was 10 years ago already,
10 years
this month of April, like, I'm like, well, obviously when April rolls around, I'm going to talk about that one.
We gotta talk Foo Fighters.
Exactly.
You gotta.
So if you all might recall, back in December, I had Kyle on and our buddy Logan, and we did a little fun little game where we kind of we ranked the Foo Fighters albums, and all of us had this one very high on the list. I know this, based on our criteria, this one wasn't number one, but in reality, this is my favorite Foo Fighters album. Where's it actually rank for you?
For me, I think The Color and the Shape will always be like my favorite Foo Fighters album.
Mm-hmm.
This is a very close second though.
Yeah.
And actually now that Medicine at Midnight has come out,
Mm-hmm.
that's pretty close up to this one too.
Okay.
But yeah, this is definitely always top 3 Foo Fighters album. And actually I want to say this is like top 10 album of all time.
Oh wow.
For me.
That's real high praise. I don't know about overall for me, like that'd be a hard sit down discussion with myself, but yeah, it's my favorite Foo Fighters album. It's the album where I went from being like a casual, like heard the songs on the radio, those sound good, Foo Fighters fan, quote unquote fan, to really becoming a fan of the band on the previous album, Echo Silence, Patience and Grace.
Mm-hmm.
This is the album where I'm like, oh no, I'm a super fan. Like, this is now my number 2 band behind Kiss.
Mm-hmm.
These guys are awesome.
This is the first Foo Fighters album I actually purchased.
Right.
I borrowed Echo Silence, Patience and Grace from you.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had borrowed Color and the Shape because I think you had that at that time too.
Mm-hmm.
But this is the first one I'm like, you know what, I'm actually buying this one. I remember getting excited going and seeing it was right around this time going to see the first Thor movie with my buddy Brandon and hearing Walk in the movie.
I forgot that song was in that movie.
It's in the bar scene there and they're drinking and it is going, and it's in the end credits too.
Yes.
And I'm just like, oh my God, this is awesome. Like,
I remember that now.
But yeah, this is the very first Foo Fighters album I ever purchased and fell head over heels in love with the band just right off the bat. Yeah. I mean, like you said, kind of a casual listener, hear the songs on the radio every once in a while, borrowed a couple albums from you, listened through a little bit, but yeah, this album was like right in.
Yeah. So as I said, 10 years ago, so it was released on April 12th, 2011. So this month is the 10-year anniversary. It was the first Foo Fighters album to top the Billboard 200 with first week sales of 235,000 copies. It was famously recorded in Dave Grohl's garage, which is documented in the Back and Forth documentary. I highly recommend, if you have not seen that documentary, seeking it out. I think they just said that they released it it's on Amazon Prime now, along with a couple other, the Skin and Bones concert and another one of their DVDs. It's not the Wembley concert. It's from before that even, is all on Amazon Prime, I believe. I just saw that today, in fact.
Like included with Prime?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. Because I own Back and Forth, and I actually need to go back and watch it again. Because I love that documentary.
Funny you say that. So after we did our show in December with Logan, I was like, we talked a lot about it during that episode because it's a good reference point, especially for the up to this point, up to this album. So I was like, oh, I want to watch that. I have the Blu-ray. I searched high and low, couldn't find it. I tore this place apart. So I'm like, all right, I found it on YouTube or something, but it wasn't even. It was weird because it wasn't. There were scenes missing that I remember, specifically like, maybe it was a bonus scene that I remember. That I thought was in but like the scene where Chris comes in and does the accordion, records the accordion on "You Should Have Known."
Yeah, no, that's
part of the actual.
fully in it.
Yeah,
that's fully in it.
Wasn't on the version that I found on YouTube, which was weird.
Huh.
So fast forward like a few weeks ago, I did some rearranging here in my Chris room, and I found it. I found the stack of DVDs that it was in.
Nice.
All my other music DVDs that aren't Kiss DVDs. I found it. I'm like, okay, sweet. It and the Wembley concert, and I knew I separated them, put them someplace, so I went to go find it the other day to watch it before we did this, and I seem to have misplaced it again.
Oh, great. Did I know that you have the Wembley concert on DVD?
I would assume so. I got it for Christmas one year, so I'd assume you knew that.
Well, I'm going to have to borrow that from you, so.
Well, as soon as I find it, because, I lost.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah, find it, and then I'll borrow it.
Yes. But anyways, so it was, the album's produced by Butch Vig, who also produced Nirvana's Nevermind album. And, so actually the beginnings of this album go all the way back to right after the end of the Echo, Silence, Patience, and Grace tour, actually. They went, right after the tour, they went into Grandmaster Recorders in Hollywood and to start working on the new album, and they just decided to abandon it and like, okay, let's take a break. And they did get 2 songs out of that, Wheels and Word Forward, which both appeared on the Greatest Hits album. And those also were produced by Butch. Okay. So Dave, he wanted to create an album that would define the Foo Fighters. Kind of some examples that he's used is he wanted an album that felt like Back in Black does to AC/DC, or the Black Album to Metallica, where it's not necessarily their best album, but it's the one where people identify the most with that band. I don't think
you mentioned that album, and it's
I don't think it's quite on that level. I think like you said, I think most people are gonna go to The Color and the Shape, or There's Nothing Left to Lose. You know, some of those earlier albums, but it's still a great album. A lot of the album was written while Dave was on tour in 2010 with Them Crooked Vultures. He recorded some demos while he was on tour and then brought them to the band. And Butch was thought the idea, so they recorded it in Dave's garage and they recorded it analog.
Yes.
So no digital, no computers, recording to tape. And Butch was like, that's crazy. Like, he's like, you're going to have to play these songs so well because any mistakes is going to be really hard to fix. So before they actually recorded, they spent 3 weeks at Studio 606 rehearsing the songs, and then went from there. And then they started recording the album on September 6, 2010. They recorded for 11 weeks, which was 1 song per week. They would spend a week on a song and then move on to the next one. So my first, so the first single was Rope, and obviously that was my first, little morsel of this album. I heard that song on the radio quite often after it came out. And I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, no, I like this. And then before the album release, I don't remember exactly when they did it. I want to say it was right before the album was released, or maybe it was after. I don't know. I'm going to link it in the description. They did wasn't even a live stream, but they played the album front to back in Studio 606. And
that video is amazing.
It is. And they just one right after the other.
Boom, created boom, transitions.
Boom. Yeah. Yep. and gave some of the songs that they played live. It gave you the first taste of how they would play those songs live on the tour coming up, and so it was. I watched that video because I had you or somebody put it on a DVD for me, and I watched that video. I don't know how many times, like. So that was like the first, I don't know, dozen times I heard the album. It was from that. So, what are your memories of that?
I remember watching that video. I watched it quite a few times. I just remember, so at the time it came out, it really never left my CD player in my car.
Mm-hmm.
It was pretty much there all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And my car I have now has 6 slots for CDs. And I want to say that CD has been in slot number 5 ever since I bought the car, which was 5, almost 6 years ago now. So yeah.
Yeah.
That's part of why, it's right up there. I never get tired of listening to it, really. I mean, like we talked about back in December, the only song I really skip on that album is White Limo.
Yeah.
And I don't always skip it. It's just sometimes Dave screaming in that song is just so much different than anytime he screams in any other song. It's not my favorite.
Right.
So
no. Yeah, we talked about
I tend to skip that one.
We'll talk about it too, because we're going to go track by track here in a second.
Yeah.
So, in fact, we're going to jump right in, going track by track. First track on the album is Bridge Burning. It was the 5th and final single off the album, and it appeared on the Madden NFL 2012 soundtrack.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yeah, I remember. I couldn't remember. It makes sense that it was 2012. I remember renting, a Madden game around that time and hearing it in that game. I'm like, all right, sweet. This is a great song, a great opener.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just a real good rockin' song. They also they opened the tour, with that song. So yeah, it's just a great opening song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's great. I mean, I don't even really have the words right now to describe it. Just some of the things that it just shows me how lacking my drumming is. Because anytime I try to like play along with that song or anything like that, there's just some parts that I just cannot get.
Right.
And I'm just like, how does Taylor do that?
Right.
How does he do that? And how did he do that so perfectly in time, especially on that album, because it was on tape.
Yeah.
And because it was, your take has to be perfect, or you have to do it all over again.
Yeah.
I just, it amazes me.
Well, he says in the documentary that sometimes he would go hours until he finally got a take that he was happy with.
Oh, I remember in the documentary, he's like, man, I'm going to be listening to this album like years from now and be like, that snare hit, man. Like,
yeah.
Why can't we Pro Tools this thing or something,
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, great opening song.
Yeah.
Get you right in there, get you going, get you ready for it.
And then kind of a really good 1-2 punch. As I mentioned, Rope was the first single off the album, and it's the second song on the album. So this song actually has its origins go back to the Echoes tour. Dave would play an acoustic guitar, during sound check or whatnot, and he started putting this song together. And they actually recorded it. It was in the batch that was recorded right after that tour at the Grandmaster Studios. It's got some Rush influence.
Mm-hmm.
It's got some Zeppelin, specifically from the Zeppelin album Presence, which is one of Dave's favorite Zeppelin albums. And Chris Shiflett had a quote about this song. He said, "What my guitar is doing over the bass makes no sense in a way. It does, but you don't know how." It is just it's a like it's not. I don't know. It's like a weird. It is. It's just a weird song to
Mm-hmm.
play. Like I was fooling around, was playing along with the album before you came on, and that one was like, what's going on here?
I think we've kind of fooled around with it in like practice at times,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
A little bit, and yeah, the Rush influence to me, or the parts that I'm hearing like the Rush influences is like during the chorus,
mm-hmm.
especially with like what Taylor is playing.
Yes,
His ride cymbal pattern is very Neil Peart
mm-hmm.
esque,
The
and
intro reminds me of Rush too.
yeah,
Yeah,
yep, and just yeah, like it honestly is the perfect 1-2 punch, like you said,
mm-hmm.
going from bridge burning and just the way that ends, and then you just get the delayed intro,
Yeah,
of rope.
yes,
It's just
yep,
makes me smile every time.
mm-hmm. And then it keeps going from there. Third track, Dear Rosemary. Uh, this is a song that we've played before.
Mm-hmm.
um,
Sick.
yeah, right. Yeah, you and Dad both were sick, but managed to pull off the vocals. Speaking of, it features Bob Mould of Husker Du on background vocals. Um, Now, this being the Music and Moonsaults channel, I gotta find wrestling connections wherever I can when I'm doing
Oh,
these album
geez.
reviews and vice versa. Bob was on the WCW writing team in like fall of 1999.
Really?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. It was I didn't know
All
that.
right.
I didn't know that until listening to Eric Bischoff's podcast.
Hmm.
Um
Okay.
he got brought up a couple times. Listen to Eric Bischoff's podcast. So, yeah. That's one, and there's another one later in the album, but yeah, that's one wrestling connection with this album. Um
Okay.
but yeah, this is a really good song. I love Bob's the harmonies that he puts on,
Mm-hmm.
especially during that bridge.
It's so fitting.
Yeah.
It's and I love the fact that, again, going back to the documentary,
Yes.
Dave waited to write that bridge
Yes.
until he was there recording it.
Yes. He had a melody
Mm-hmm.
in mind, but he just wanted to wait and write the words in the studio with Bob, which was cool. So
Yeah, I love this song. This song might be my favorite song on the album.
it's my third favorite song on the album, but it's in that batch. It's in that top batch for sure.
um okay, yeah, I could say top 3, because I always have a hard time saying my favorite of anything because it fluctuates so
Yeah.
much for me.
Mm-hmm.
But I loved playing it when we played it. I would love to play it again sometime, figure it out,
Mm-hmm.
just it's hopefully healthy this time.
Yeah.
It's a fun song to play and sing at the same time.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. Um. Next, the aforementioned White Limo. It was the second single, which I didn't remember, but
yeah, I don't remember ever hearing it on the radio.
according to my research, it was the second single. Um, and the lyrics took 2 minutes to write. Which, I mean, you can't even understand them
Yeah.
anyway. So I could see that. So
Yeah.
like we said, neither one of this is both of it's our least favorite song on the album. It's I mean very very heavy, very metal, punk.
I do like the music to it.
Yes.
The music is great. It really just boils down to the screaming, because really screaming isn't necessarily my style.
Right. Mine either.
That I like to listen to. When Dave does it live, like when he will throw like a screaming whatever into whatever, I think it's hilarious, because usually it's him screaming some expletive or something.
Right.
But the whole song of it, not so much.
Yeah. Next we get what is in the running. It's this and one other song as my absolute favorite on the album, Alandria.
Okay.
This was actually released as a single in the UK.
Oh, okay.
And it's about the neighborhood in Virginia where Dave grew up. I love this song so much. Again, nice transit. Like, it's a nice transition from White Limo into this song. Like, boom, boom. Really, really well. In fact, it's so much so that when I do skip White Limo, like, it doesn't
you miss
flow right.
Yeah.
Because the beginning of Alandria is so abrupt. But yeah, I love the chorus, I guess maybe it'd be the pre-chorus. Used to say, yeah, that part. I love that part. It's my favorite part of the song. Especially the da 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 before going into the second half.
Yeah, I guess that would that be like pre-chorus? Probably.
That's what I would call it.
I would say
that's what I would call it. I don't know.
Because the actual, like, what are the words, like, you are not me, Alandria. Yeah.
Alandria.
Like, I would say that's the actual.
Yeah, me too. So yeah, I would say the other part is the pre-chorus, but
yeah,
that's my favorite part
or
of the song.
hook.
Yes. It's funny. He's got like rain rain go away in it. Because he's like, I read something where he's like, there's a place for kids' songs in rock and roll.
That's right.
I can't say enough about this song. I love it. Yeah. So, next we get These Days, which was the 5th single released off the album. Dave has said, I don't know if it's still true because they've had a few albums since, but up until this point, Dave said it was his favorite song he ever wrote.
Oh,
so
it's
definitely the most mellow, one of the most mellow songs on the album.
But it isn't like mellow,
right?
It's mellower,
right?
But it's not. I wouldn't necessarily call it mellow.
No, because
maybe the verses.
The verses are pretty mellow. It does really kick up a notch in the choruses. But yeah, I like it. I don't. To be honest, I heard it a lot. I've heard it a lot since they started doing the Foo Fighters channel on Sirius XM. Like, it seems like every time I'm in the car and listening, at some point, that song gets played, and I'm like, oh, okay.
I do really. The part that sticks out to me that I absolutely love is I love the bass line in the chorus.
Yeah.
Yes. I think that's what draws me the most.
And it's simple, but it's also complex. Like you hear it and you can tell what Nate's playing, but finding it like exactly right and playing it exactly note for note correct is something you really got to sit down and spend some time with. Because it's not like you think it. Okay, that sounds like it goes like. Oh no, it doesn't go like that. Let me try something else. So you trying to find the notes in the right place.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's good tune. Number 7, we got a couple back to back here that are probably, on the low end of the scale for me. Back and Forth, which is again the title of the documentary. It's not a bad song. It's just, you can tell why this one wasn't necessarily a single or one they played live or whatnot.
Yeah, you can tell why it is on the back half kind of the album.
And same with song 8, A Matter of Time. It's fine, but it's not not one of the best. Yeah. But then we get to song 9, and this is the one that challenges Alandria as my favorite. Miss the Misery. The album's called Wasting Light. Now, they don't have a song on the album called Wasting Light, but it is in this song.
Yep.
Don't waste your time, you're wasting light in the chorus. Just I love the riff. Dun, 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 dun. Yeah. And then I love the chorus before the guitar solo when it's just the hard stabbing chords, the dun dun going in, Miss the Misery. I love that. It's such a great song.
Yes.
It's one that I think should get a lot more love from people. It's one of those, it's like, for, as a, to equate it to Kiss, it's like Magic Touch for me, where it's like, it's a song.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
It's a song that no one but your hardcore fans probably know, but it's like, it's in my probably top 10 Foo Fighters songs. Like it's such a good song.
Yes.
Then we getting to the end of the album. We got I Should Have Known, which, as I mentioned, features Chris Novoselic from Nirvana. He plays accordion on the intro and the outro, and then towards the end of the song, he adds bass on top of Nate's bass, and it is the most ballsy, growling. Like,
it gives me chills every time I hear it.
Monster. It's the damnedest good bass tone I've ever heard. It's awesome.
It's like I said, it gives me chills every time I hear it. It's just,
yeah,
love that song.
It's and I believe on the Studio 606 video, Pat plays the extra bass.
Oh, does he?
I believe so.
I gotta go back and watch that.
I do too. But I believe he does. I know he plays a lot of baritone guitar, which is a deeper, heavier sounding guitar on this album. This is also his. I forgot to mention, this is his first album back as an official member of the band. He was on. Technically he wasn't on the first album. That was all Dave. But he joined up after Dave recorded the first album. He was on The Color and the Shape, but then left shortly thereafter. He came back into the fold on the Skin and Bones tour, and then was also playing. He did some work on the Echoes album and was on tour with them, and then officially, this is the start of them just keeping adding people.
Yeah.
to the band. Now Rami, who does plays some on this album as well. Now he's officially a member after a couple albums of doing some work. So they just keep adding I'm sure by the next album, after Medicine at Midnight, all the background singers will be
Yeah.
official members.
Oh yeah.
So,
Oh yeah.
but this is a really good song. This is again, it's not really mellow, but it's a little more subdued. This and These Days are probably the soft, not even soft, but quieter until the end, and then it's like I said, that bass tone is ridiculous.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So
if you're not careful, you could blow your speakers.
Yeah, for sure. And then we finished the album with Walk. This was the third single. It won 2 Grammy Awards for Best Rock Performance and Best Rock Song. The album, by the way, won Best Rock Album at the Grammys. So this is the other song with a wrestling connection.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
You're familiar with the wrestler Edge, Kyle? Adam
Yes.
Copeland?
Yes.
Very big Foo Fighters fan.
Well, he was guest DJ, right?
Yep.
On the Foo Fighters
a
station?
doppelganger of sorts to one Taylor Hawkins.
Yes.
This song was used for his Hall of Fame video package when he went in the Hall of Fame in 2012, and also was used in the documentary they released on the WWE Network about his comeback last year.
Okay.
And on his guest DJ spot, he explains it's the last song he plays on his time, and he explains why the song, like, he says, every time I hear this song, I hear it at the exact moment I need to. He said the first time he remembered hearing it was after he made his retirement announcement in 2011.
Well, it makes sense.
Right around actually, he announced his retirement the day before this album came out.
Oh.
Because his match at WrestleMania this year will be on April 11th, and that'll be 10 years to the day of his retirement.
Oh, dang.
So, yeah. So, and he said, it just spoke to me. The line about getting good at starting over every time that I return.
Mm-hmm.
That was his. So after he retired, he goes into acting, and then once he makes the decision to try and see if he can get back in the ring again, same thing, that line, learning to walk again. I believe I'm getting strong enough, or I can't remember exactly how it goes. But yeah,
what's
learn to walk again. I believe I've waited long enough.
Waited long enough. Yeah. Where do I begin?
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the second wrestling connection that this album has. There is a bonus track if you got the Japanese version, and I will I will link that in the description as well. It's called Better Off.
Japanese version.
Yeah, this was totally new to me until I was doing research before we clicked record. And I listened to the song. It's really good song. It reminds me more of there is nothing left to lose or One by One era Foo Fighters.
Okay.
But it's still a really good song. So yeah. Now, the tour.
The tour.
They toured, off and on throughout beginning all the way in January 2011. That's when they did a bunch of those club dates where they played the album in full for people. And then, went to Europe, back and forth a couple times, played some festivals. But the North American tour in earnest began in September of that year. We saw this tour. This was
my very first Foo Fighters concert.
We went with our father. That was your guys' first time seeing the Foo Fighters in person. my second time. It was September 11th, or not September 11th, September 19th, 2011. That's better. The day after my birthday, at the Palace of Auburn Hills.
They had a mariachi
El Bronx and Against Me. Or was it Rise Against?
It was Rise Against.
I get those two mixed up.
Yeah, it was Rise Against.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right. Rise Against. Those were the two openers. And it's what a great set list here. I'm gonna read it off to you. So,
all right,
and they're pretty good about this. I think of the times I've seen them, the only tour where they didn't open with new stuff is the Sonic Highways tour, where they opened with Everlong and Monkey Wrench. But every other tour they always open with at least one or two new songs. So they open with the first two songs of the album, Bridge Burning and Rope. And from there they go to The Pretender. And then My Hero. And then Learn to Fly. Like boom, boom, boom. And then again, like the album, we go back to back with White Limo and Elandria, which was awesome. And they did Breakout, Cold Day in the Sun, Stacked Actors, Walk. They did Generator, which I completely forgot about.
Oh wow, yeah.
I completely forgot they did that song on this tour, which is awesome. I love that song.
Yeah.
Monkey Wrench. Then they did These Days. I Should Have Known, Skin and Bones, This Is a Call, and then All My Life. And then they come for an encore. They had it was like a catwalk almost, and it raised up, I want to say. And it was just Dave and an acoustic guitar. I'm pretty sure that I know it was just him and an acoustic guitar. I want to say there was a catwalk that came out into the middle of the arena and it raised up. I swear it rose up. Maybe I'm completely wrong.
See, I don't remember that, but I could be wrong myself.
But anyways, so he does Long Road to Ruin, and Best of You, both by themselves. Then he starts Times Like These for the first half, and then second half, the rest of the band comes in. And then we finish with Dear Rosemary, Breakdown, which is a Tom Petty cover, Tie Your Mother Down, which is a Queen cover, and Everlong. That's a great set list.
It makes me wish I could go back in time.
I've looked
and re-experience that night.
I've looked for this specific concert on YouTube, and I haven't found it. I've found others from this tour, but I haven't found this one. But yeah,
people in Detroit suck. Unless you're from Detroit and you're watching this, then you don't suck.
No, yeah. Please like the video.
Yes.
So yeah, I remember we were sitting. So if you're looking at the stage, we were on the left side, over like almost in the back left corner almost.
Yeah, I remember being off to the side.
I know we were kind of looking at it this way at an angle.
Yeah, we had to turn our heads, and I remember a guy in a banana costume off to our left,
that.
A few rows down. Yep.
I don't remember that. Was that the concert?
I remember we texted Matt about it.
Okay.
I remember
that the
texting Matt about
it with the Spaz Kid, or was that the Motley Crue concert?
That was Motley Crue. Was
okay.
The Spaz
Kid. Because we sat in almost. I think we might have been deeper in the corner for Motley Crue, but it was like almost the same side. Like maybe a couple sections over.
For Crue, we were more so in the corner. For Foo Fighters, we were more along the actual side.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So,
Yeah. So we saw 3 really good concerts in that building towards the end of there. Because you and I went and saw Maiden in 2016. So, and now it's gone. No more Palace. Which is a bummer. I love that building. But yeah. Other than that, this is the shirt I got at the arena.
I want to say that's my shirt.
No, this is mine.
Because I had bought a shirt and I feel like I gave it to you.
No,
because it wouldn't fit me anymore.
This is mine. Trust me.
Okay.
Because I've worn it so much. Right. This is probably the last time I will wear it because I've worn it so much.
Oh,
I have a hole in the collar.
Okay.
So, but
that is my hat.
It is your hat, yes.
That is my hat that you bought for me when you went for your first tour.
That you regifted because it doesn't fit your fat head.
Yes. Not anymore. I have a Foo Fighters hat. I just did not think to wear it. Yeah. I didn't want to dig it out.
It's all right.
So.
You've got a tattoo, so.
That's right.
There you go. So. Kyle, any final words on the Wasting Light album?
No, I think we've pretty much said everything. I've pretty much said everything I could say. Love the album, love the band. Like I said, it was really my first kind of kick in the butt to be like, oh my god, this band is freaking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I love Dave Grohl.
Yes,
I would love to be able to meet Dave Grohl at some point and like just tell him how awesome he is, even though I'm sure he hears it every single day.
I said on my Soul Station review that there's not many celebrities that I would like, I got to meet this person or I really want to meet this person. Paul Stanley is one and Dave Grohl is the other. Like, those are the two people where I'd be like, oh, like I probably wouldn't be able to talk.
Those two definitely. I would like to meet Taylor. I think Taylor would be another cool one to kind of. Actually, I think just the Foo Fighters as a whole,
yes,
would be great because I feel like just they all kind of mesh together so well.
Yeah,
I feel like as a collective they would just be like, jumping ahead to the next album, but during the documentary series for Sonic Highways, when they were in New Orleans, they'd be at the bar or whatever. Like, I don't even know how I would react.
Yeah.
If I was at a bar and Dave Grohl, Taylor Hawkins, like if they all just walk in to buy food.
They kind of spoiled us with documentaries.
Oh, I know.
They did that. I know. We haven't forth, and then for the, like you said, for the Sonic Highways, it was basically a soundtrack to the HBO series. And and then since then, the last 2 albums, no documentaries. I need another one.
Sad.
Speaking of Sonic Highways, I did get Chris Shiflett to compliment me on my Kiss shirt when we were walking in for the Sonic Highways concert.
Yep. I had just gotten this tattoo.
Yeah.
And I thought about like pointing it out, be like, "Oh yeah, I just got this tattoo," but I didn't say anything.
Have you had that that long?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've had this tattoo. Will be 6 years.
Okay.
Because we went. Mom wanted a tattoo for her 50th birthday, and I was like, "I'll go with you."
Okay.
I'll get my first tattoo too.
All right.
Yeah. I haven't gotten one in 2 years, and I'm wanting another one. So
time flies, man.
I know. Especially over the last year.
Yeah. You tell me.
But
all right, Kyle, where can people find you at?
Well, you already said you can follow me on Twitter at Kyler_gaming. And then on Twitch, twitch.tv/Kyler_gaming. I haven't really been streaming on there much lately. Kind of had a shift in the work schedule, but hoping I can still kind of get on there, and I'm actually
Follow him
working
anyways.
on.
You'll get a notification whenever he
Yeah,
does start streaming.
I'm working on maybe some YouTube stuff myself. So
Cool. Excellent.
yeah, it was actually kind of nice to be the only other face on the screen. I've only ever been in a 3-piece here, so
Yeah. Well, yeah, it is. I mean, and I mentioned in the intro we might have had a third. I sent the invite to Logan to see if he wanted to join us. I'm kind of glad in a way that he didn't end up, because it was. I mean, it's a lot smoother with two people.
yeah,
Unless you're doing something like the draft I did. Where it was the four of us, only one person is talking at a time. So, but yeah, it's nice to do the one-on-one thing. So,
yeah.
Cool.
All right. Well, thanks for having me on, sir.
Thank you. Please, again, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Facebook.com.
Leave a comment below.
Yes, leave a comment. Facebook.com/Music and Moonsalts. I post all the links there. Follow me on Twitter at IbanezChris. Anchor.fm. Just search Music and Moonsalts if you want to just hear us talk about the Foo Fighters. You don't actually want to watch us talk about the Foo Fighters.
Yeah, you don't want to see our ugly mugs.
Yeah, exactly.
No.
Or I get it. Like I'm in the car a lot.
Yeah.
It's much easier for me to listen to audio versions of podcasts than it is to watch
Definitely.
videos. So I get it. That's why I want to make that option available. So other than that, until next time, guys, see ya.